All right. Hey, everybody,
I
this
don't know
here's
why
Mike
this
at
shit does this.
Bushcraft. Uh-oh, Alan's already interrupting me already.
Oh, I didn't know we was live. You should have said something. Hey,
Damn!
y'all. All
Been a
right,
couple
go
of weeks
ahead. I'm
since we've
sorry.
done this together, so naturally it's not going to be good.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm
No,
sorry.
you didn't. No, we're good.
Well, hey, folks. I had no idea that we were going live at that time. So if y'all heard that a bad word, I'm sorry.
Did you say a bad word?
I think I said the S word, the poopy
Stupid.
word.
That's all right. It's 2015.
But I was trying to bring up the YouTube page, and
For some reason, it's going black.
Go ahead.
Do you have your camera off? Because I see you down in the small window, but I'm not seeing you in the top window here.
No, I'm here. My camera's showing me.
Somebody tell us if we're seeing both of us bounce back and forth.
I haven't made it to the YouTube page yet.
We have Tim and Sue so far. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on that Southern Bushcraft Rendezvous. There's a lot of folks actually going. I've gotten about 30 new friends on Facebook. Saying I'm bouncing back and forth, but oh well. Nobody wants to see your mug anyway.
Right.
Come on, I mean, take 2 weeks off and you get blank on me. Hey, Elmore. That's a nice canoe he's got on his front page right there. A little bit better than the one I got.
Did you watch who was that does that? Joe Robinette. Have you watched any of his canoeing
Unfortunately,
videos?
I
haven't. Say again?
I said, unfortunately, I haven't. I talked to the wife today a little bit there. I originally started out trying to lose weight. I was at 235, 240. Well, I'm at 196 right now in about 4 weeks. I think I'm working it off, or I've gotten sick, or I'm just fighting off the old age.
But did you answer me? Because I didn't hear you about. Did you watch any of Joe Robinette's recent videos?
I haven't seen any of his.
He's got a canoe. He's got a canoe that they carry by themselves. It's like him and two people go out, and wherever they go canoeing at, they have to like canoe across a big lake and then walk down or up a big trail, then put it in a river, then go up another trail. Well, one person carries the pack or just carries their normal pack, and the other person carries the canoe over their head. And it's like I don't know what it weighs, I think 25 pounds or something. But it's freaking awesome. Yeah, and they walk all up the mountains with it and all kind of stuff, and then go back and get their backpack. And just, I mean, just one person carrying it over their head.
Well, you won't carry it. You've seen mine. You throw mine over.
Yeah, I know.
25 feet.
I know it.
I think if I ever decide to buy
it, if I could get it. Do what?
I said, if I ever buy another canoe, I don't think I'll actually get a canoe. I'll probably go with one of those kayak-like things.
You already got a canoe.
I know, but if I was to ever decide to do anything else, I don't know how much mine weighs, but it sure did feel heavy, did it not, Alan?
Yeah, it seemed real heavy.
But I think it's just awkward the way it's built, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good sturdy one, no doubt. But like I said, Joe Robinette and his other person, they both fit all their gear in the canoe and both ride in the canoe. I don't know how big it is or nothing, but it just pretty much amazed me that it was light enough for one person to carry.
My seats is what, because this got those fold down seats. I think that and that middle compartment, everything there, that's what really weighs it. The canoe itself doesn't weigh that much, but it's a booger getting it up. Hey, campfire. But I was gonna go ahead and a few people has asked about it, but I think I'm gonna wait until we get a few more viewers in, and then kind of go ahead and do it that way. If anybody asks, if they've seen it and stuff. Scrambled O. So what have you been doing bushcraft wise?
Me?
Yeah, I'm throwing you on the
Nothing.
spot.
Oh, I still haven't been doing nothing but working on my house or working on my shop for the last 4 or 5 days now, putting on a new roof still. Got a big, nice cut on my hand. And boy, that joker, it don't look like much, but it was pouring blood out like a waterfall. I was pushing the tin up, and I was pushing real hard because I was trying to get it up past the first tin, and it got stuck on a 2 before while I was pushing it, and that corner went dead through my hand. I was like, wanted to scream.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's all I've been doing, is working on that.
In the afternoons, I get about 15, 20 minutes for these last few weeks, it seems like. And I've been kind of running out there just playing around with cane poles and making the fire saw, kind of like with it, where you run it up and down the side, the edges of it. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but I'm going to do a video on it. It's been a long time since I've done it. And then it's just like the bow drill. If I had to grab a bow drill up today, I'm not going to spin one out in 30 seconds. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, if I do, it's luck, but it'd take me probably 15 minutes to get, okay, this was the pressure. That's the speed. This is, the friction you had to go with and stuff. But normally with that particular style, I can take the cane pole, which is a section of about 3.5 foot long, split it in half, and split you off another smaller section about 1.5 foot, joint to joint with a larger cane pole. Drill a little hole with the tip of your knife into the tip of it there. Scrape the inside of it to get you some tinder up into it, and then just put you a little notch. And then you just run it right down the edge of where you split it back and forth. It takes about 30 or 40 seconds of doing that. It's just kind of like the fire roll that everybody does. You start out kind of slow, wear the groove in and heat up the boards or the two cane poles. And then once you get going, it starts smoking.
Yeah.
Well, my infamous wisdom kicked in somewhere along the line there, and it's like, oh, she's smoking. She's good. Yeah. Start over.
Infamous wisdom.
Yeah. But that's the thing is practicing these things. I guess it's really, did I get one going? Yeah. It took me 5 minutes as opposed to the normal 45 seconds to do it because I had to start back over. But I've been playing around with some of that. Me and Caden shot a few videos for him, and I got his channel set up finally. The one that we originally done, it's still up, but some kind of flag thing or whatever, it won't allow him to upload anything to it. So I finally bypassed that and got around, figured out what I did wrong and got it set up. I know all about that one, Brennan. Seems like I've been losing track of time for the last 5 weeks.
Did you see the guy that said his canoe weighed 72 pounds? Elmore, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Mine didn't. I don't think it weighs 72. It may, but it says that it weighs 60-something pounds. But I think that was one side.
Yeah. I think we have a lot of coyotes in this area, which we had a lot of coyotes where I was before too. I mean, for those who don't know, I'm just 17 miles away from where I was before. But it seems like the coyote packs are a lot bigger here, a lot more coyotes, and they're a lot more aggressive because I think they're messing around getting people's dogs and stuff around here. I walked out on the porch, I guess 2 nights ago, and I heard coyotes yapping and dogs yapping too. I mean, you can tell the difference if you ever heard coyotes. But it sounded like it was just about 3 houses down from me. And I went and told my wife, I said, it sounds like a pack of coyotes is tearing up a dog down there. Coincidentally, the night before that, we have a outdoor cat that we brought from Florida with us, and it don't never want to come in the house, this outdoor cat. I heard something scratching on the window, and I turn around, and it's the cat wanting in. And we don't like her in the normal part of the house. We'll put her back there in that little strip. We figured it was just going to be a night or to eat or something, but she don't want to go out for nothing. And I'm thinking a pack of coyotes must have got after her and scared the crap out of her, and she don't want to go back outside no more.
Well, all I know is your dogs seem to take up with me pretty well.
They take up with everybody. We had the roofer guy over here the other day to fix the chimney. There was a leak on the chimney from after the roofers left. That guy sat in here and pet Dixie for probably 35 minutes. I was thinking, God, you ever going to go work on the chimney, or are you just going to sit here and pet my dog?
I tell you, disposable 762 there said kill every coyote. That's something that you may want to check into is trapping. I mean, your first initial investment, it can be semi-costly. I mean, you don't need but 3 or 4 traps.
I'll shoot them if I see them.
I know, but
I know everybody around here wants to kill them too. Nobody wants coyotes around.
Well, that's true, but I mean, you got the muzzle loader, and it's a whole lot cheaper. You got a 22.
I ain't allowed to have a 22.
That's right. You're not center fire. Well, you just learn a lot about people whenever you get a YouTube channel.
I got a .22 pellet rifle.
Well, that'll work.
I know it.
But I'm going to go ahead and show off that little knife because I see a few of them that had asked about it. For anybody that's watching, a couple of weeks ago, it's probably been about 4 weeks ago, I showed you that I had started on a little knife. I thought about going with my Carta wrap. I haven't fooled with that very much, and I'll be quite honest with you, it's not something that I can see me doing on a regular basis. Maybe if I'd done it a few more times and got going, but I went ahead and I had a sheath for it that I had made already for another one, and it fits in there just perfect. But that's that black knife that y'all had seen without the handles and stuff on it. This piece over here, I kind of went ahead and when I made the knife to begin with, I wanted something other than where I'm heating up arrows, I can use it to bend instead of an antler, because I don't always have an antler inside of it. So that right there is actually a 3/16 shaft for the 3/16 to a quarter. And the way it fits in, it's bigger here and then our center, and then as it goes through, it allows me to be able to bend and stuff. But that was one of the little neat features that I put on it. That wood that's on the handle right there, that's yew wood. Dan from Got Rocks in My Head sent me some of it about, what was that, about a year ago? Do you remember, Alan?
Yes, seems like it's about a year and 4 or 5 months.
Something like that. But he had sent me some of it, and I've not used it on any of the handles, but the handle on it just turned out great. I mean, it just
it looks good. I like it.
The smoothness on it. I mean, it's got a good fit down inside of it. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I put a slight curve under here. I'm going to do something that you shouldn't do if you're watching this. But getting popped out.
You reading comments? You getting
not yet
comments on that?
But
Donnie says, "Damn, that knife is gorgeous," and Brad said, "Killer work, Mike."
This thing here, I mean, it's just a bare. I'm not even I'm just barely going up. If I set my house on fire, it's y'all's fault.
Uh,
But I mean, she strikes real well. I'm gonna tinker around with it and make sure, because the one thing that I've learned about using old blades, they're subject to break, just from the spinning and stuff that they've went through and the abuse that they went through over the whole thing with it. But what do you got up there?
I was just laughing. Parker tried to say, "Miss Sue, how you do?" He says, "Miss Sue, how you do?" Like he corrected it lower. He says, "How?" But it's just funny. It
Let's
struck
see.
me funny.
I got to go back up now.
Kind of struck me, tickled my fancy there. Um, before I forget, survival. I think that's his name, ain't it? Survival. But he posted up there a little ways. He made it. Okay, Parker.
I just now read it.
Survival posted a good point a while ago about the coyotes, and he said something to the effect of nobody wants coyotes until there's so many varmints around and you can't get no more feed out of your barn because the varmints are eating it all or something like that. And that's a good point, though. We all want to kill the coyotes, but what if we kill them all off? Then that's kind of taking out the natural order of things, ain't it? You know, you got the coyotes and
we introduced them
everything's
here
on
in
a food
Georgia.
chain.
We didn't
Yeah.
have them here in Georgia. I mean, we did, but they had been pretty much eradicated, I guess, in the early 18 or late 1800s, 1900s, or whatever. And then they kind of came back in. And then about 1980, Georgia started introducing them back in here. But now I was reading, you was talking about those red wolves. Well, now we've got some type of new wolf that has been introduced into our area as well to kill out the coyotes. I mean, where do they make that fine line?
They've been talking about here about the red wolves breeding with the coyotes.
Yeah.
And they said that's a bad breed. They said if you come across one of them, that's a bad breed.
Be fast and vicious.
Yeah.
Whenever we seen a thing, we don't have mountain lions that's normal, but Tennessee, just up above, maybe 75 miles above us, actually went ahead and posted some of their cams or cameras that they have and tracks and stuff that did say that we actually now have, it's official that we have at least 4 mountain lions that have been spotted and pretty much noted.
Well, I know Georgia has panthers. They had panthers when I was little. I remember seeing panthers when I'd be camping with my granddaddy.
I've only seen one. It's kind of a that you don't see them.
Yeah.
I was young. I was 12, maybe. I was with my uncle. We would been up to. There used to be a mansion that was up on the side of a mountain lot, and we'd went up there, and that's when we'd seen it. And I vaguely remember seeing images. I mean, you're looking at somewhat 40 years ago or 35 years ago, but he had said he's seen it several times.
Huh. I remember camping with my granddaddy as a little kid, and he had the pop-up camper where the beds go fold out. When you roll the thing up, the beds stick out, whatever be baby panthers. At one point, there was baby panthers under one of the beds. And I didn't ever see the mama panther, just the baby panthers. My granddaddy took them off somewhere. I don't know where he took them.
That's the thing is, my uncle, we never heard her scream. My uncle, he's 64, 65 now, I guess. And he had made that same comment. And first time they had ever been up there camping in that area. And he said it was just like a woman or like I don't know, he describes it as a woman. But I've never personally ever heard one scream.
It's kind of weird because there's quite a few things, I think, in the woods that actually sound like a woman screaming. And the first time I ever heard a fox making a woman sounds like a woman dying. And I didn't never, I mean, that was here at this other house we was at. I walked out on the porch and I was like, what the heck? I went and got my wife. I said, sound like somebody's getting murdered over there. And then I realized after I went and did research on the internet, I realized it was a daggum fox.
Yeah. Deep South seen a pink
raccoons. And raccoons, when they go fighting and stuff in the woods, they make all kind of funky noises.
That's the good thing about being out there in the woods at night. I mean, you just, if you really just sit back and listen, you just hear all kinds of things.
It's amazing too. I've been in the woods all my life and I still hear stuff that's new to me. Every once in a blue moon, I'll hear something. I'll be like, what the heck was that? Let's see here. Just going to go over a few, not really go over it, but just remind everybody for your winter chores in the bushcraft and prepping and all that stuff going on. One thing, as far as going camping and building your own shelters and all that stuff, something to always remember is that your clothing is your most important shelter. Any shelter after that is secondary. Your clothing is your first and foremost shelter. And so study up on that if you don't know much about it, you know, how to stay warm or how to have your clothing right, because a lot of people think that to put your clothes on to stay warm and tighten it up where can't no air get out and you're trapping all the heat in. Well, you're also trapping moisture in too. So you got to have clothes that breathe. And for prepping or homesteading, which is kind of past the time now to plant greens, I would say, especially for most folks who don't live southward. Excuse me, but there's still a lot more you can do in the garden. Getting your garden prepared for next year, you're putting all your mulch in there or putting your greens. And it's very wasteful to cut your grass, especially at this time of year when you're doing your last grass cuts before the grass quits growing. It'd be better for you to rake that grass up or bag it up and pour it wherever your garden is and kind of till it in. That way you're kind of feeding the soil by doing that. You know, it helps your garden out a bunch. And something that just went across my mind tonight before we even started the show, I was looking up certain things on Google. And I got to thinking, Google has anything you want to know, it's on there. All you got to do is know how to search it. And it's not hard to search it. Basically, whatever the question is in your mind, type it on Google and you'll find it. And that came up by me typing in homesteading in October. You know, and it brings up all kind of your chore lists, you know, just everything you want to know. And so that's a good thing and it's weird. You would be amazed at the people who don't know how to Google or don't know how to search. I have people all the time, my family even calling me up saying, can you look something up for me? And I'm thinking, what? You don't have Google? What do you need me for? But and also back to the winter chores, you know, rotate your summer gear. Don't forget to rotate your summer gear out of your backpacks. You're gonna be hating it if you just grab your old summer backpack and go camping and realize you ain't got nothing but summer stuff in there, clothes wise and sleep wise and all that stuff. Refresh your chickens' hay. Basically all the normals. Basically just prepare for winter.
I keep pretty much 2 bags of stuff, and then I kind of switch them in and out. But the stuff that I carry in it, it's pretty much all season. I mean, other than the clothing.
Really? Even your bedding?
I mean, it's
not me. In the summertime, all I carry for bedding is a throw to cover up with.
One over there, but then the multi-sleep system is already pre-packed. It's got everything in it. And I take, like when I went camping with you up there, you seen what I brought. I just got one of those cheap $10 things because it's too hot for anything until about 4 a.m. in the morning in a hammock anyway. But that's just, I mean, the other stuff is pretty much already, your essentials are already the same.
Yeah.
or for me, the stuff that stays in it. I mean, the knife, the ferro rods, the fire starting, that my cook kit and stuff like that. The rest of it is just here's the clothing that goes over here now.
Yeah.
But I mean, most of the time, I'm probably like most everybody else that's on this channel right here.
Yeah.
And just same as with you, what do you wear out when you go summertime? The same clothes you wear in
Some
the wintertime. It's just you put more of them on.
Not really. I mean, I wear in the wintertime, I wear long johns, I wear thicker socks, you know, I wear extra shirts, which that falls in and put more of them on. But
See, I
which,
don't wear
and
as
I'm
much.
not one. I'm not. I have to. I'll freeze my butt off if I don't. But I'm not one that wears. I'm not one that carries a change of clothes too often, even though I probably should. But when I go out there in the woods, I don't care how dirty I get and how stinky my clothes get. I just go out there. I'm
Trust me,
out
I
there
know.
to. But so I don't usually carry a change of clothes. But yeah, in the wintertime, I'll dress down with a whole lot of clothes and have on my long johns and thick socks, but I'll take off what I can and just wear it around my neck or hanging on the backpack while I'm walking and getting hot. And it basically goes just you're getting hot and sweaty, take layers off. As you get cold, put layers on, you know. But I usually, if my clothes can't go on my shoulder or around my neck or just hang over my backpack, they ain't going in my backpack. That may
Here,
change one day.
kind of throwing this out there. Parker or Stan, either one. The last 10 minutes, if it's all right with you, Alan, I was going to see if one of
Uh-huh.
them wanted to pop in because they're more familiar about the big event that's going on. And I noticed a good bit of the folks that are on here are going to be going. And if they had anything they might want to throw in just for the last couple of days before the event starts, just see
Yeah,
if one of them kind of wants to jump in and we'll throw them in here. And because I mean, me personally, I've talked to Donnie a few times, and I'm going to bring a couple of little things. And I talked about maybe bringing one of my tables that I've got and just throwing some of my little collections of things that I've made, just throwing it on the table and say, hey, this is this, this, and this, because I really don't have a lot of time to. I'm going to do some gourds. I got about 15 that are dried out that can be used, and I thought about bringing those 15 down there. And if anybody just wanted to make them a gourd container for dipping water out in a bowl with the other top half of it, show them how to do it. I mean, it's not rocket science, but
yeah. That's fine with me. I don't. You can bring somebody in. Brandon, is that how you say his name? Brandon or
Brennan, I
Brennan?
think.
Brandon. That's cool. Y'all going to do a little greenhouse next year. I hope you'll video it. And also, if you don't have any land, which I know you just said y'all don't have enough for a proper garden, but of course you know probably already that you can garden in containers. And there's a lot of people that do that nowadays, especially with all this prepping and survival stuff being so in right now. There's a lot of city folks that are gardening in containers on their back patios, people who live in apartments that only have a patio or a gardening, you know. And I've done container gardening before with my normal garden. I mean, I'll put a tomato plant in a 5-gallon bucket, you know, and have that sitting right on the porch and it grows just fine. But yeah, you can do container gardening if you don't have any kind of land to garden on.
I think, when you think about it with gardening and things of that nature and stuff like that, it kind of goes right along with bushcraft and survival and stuff because, you know, in
Yeah,
the end, you're ultimately, you know, if you had to take off and rely on your skills, well, just hunting and fishing and making knickknacks and trinkets and how to stay warm and stuff is eventually, if this is going to become a lifestyle, you need to learn the gardening part of it, the aspect of how it works, what you need to do with it, and things of that. So it's all falls in with it.
hey Tasha. Um, well, yeah, garden definitely is a part of it all. It's a part of prepping, homesteading, survival. I mean, garden's a very important part of it all, especially if you're on. I mean, if you're homesteading, this show's all about survival, bushcraft, prepping, and everything related. And gardening is definitely fits in with prepping and homesteading and all that stuff. I mean, if everybody gardened, which it probably won't never happen, but if everybody did, we'd dang near put grocery stores out of business. If
You still with us?
everybody grew their own,
Sound like you kind of went down on
froze
there.
up. Yeah, everything stopped, but it's back up, back up and running. Um, I lost thought.
Hey, it happens. I do it. That's the one thing about corn and stuff is if it doesn't germinate well, if you don't have enough of it, and a lot of the Hispanic folks that have moved into the area around here, um, they don't plant rows, you know, and they it's like they just get a pound of seeds and sling them up in the air, and where they land, they land. But they grow some of the best looking corn you've ever ate.
I don't know what happened, y'all.
You're still with us though.
Yeah, I'm with you now. Um, on that gardening tip, remember the guy who won on the Alone show?
Mm-hmm.
And when they come and got him, and he was like, "Really, really? I was already
I was
planting a spring garden."
I seen a caption he had on his channel, um, and how did it go? It says, "I just had two slugs this morning for breakfast, and you're telling me I can go home now?"
Yeah. Corn, squash, and beans.
I'll tell you something
We
other
didn't
than
have a garden. Go ahead.
just get you a handful of okra seeds next time you're out in the woods, and just you can just sling them suckers, and you will be amazed at how quick those things will take over in the forest because
Yeah,
they'll grow any kind of rocky soil and the heat and stuff that comes down, but
yeah.
all the critters that eat it, well, those seed pods just seem to travel all over the place.
I'd like to start planting some stuff in the woods or just throwing some seeds out. I know for tomatoes, you
Amen,
can just
Buzz.
throw a tomato out and it'll grow.
Like with the Indians and stuff like that, when you look back and see how they done, they would fish and they planted up by the riverbanks and things like that. And those fish, they would put one fish, like brim, small fish and stuff, went in the hole, and then the seed, or a little dirt, then the seed. That was the fertilize.
Yeah. I used to do that too in Florida when I was doing all that fishing on the ocean and in the freshwater. I'd always clean my catfish, and all their guts went around all my orange trees. And we had orange trees and lemon trees in the yard
I'll
and
tell you
avocado.
something else that is good for fruit trees, probably other trees too. When you get done making your fire in the house and stuff, you got a fireplace now, don't you?
Yeah,
Is it wood?
it's a regular fireplace. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember if
wood.
it was gas or
Yeah,
wood. Take those ashes out and sprinkle them around your fruit trees, around the base of them.
yeah. You put that in your compost too. Put
Hmm.
ashes in your compost. That's where we get our seeds too, Brendan. Dollar store. Every once in a blue moon, if we just happen to be in a feed store, when we had the chickens, we was going to the feed store a lot, and they have special seeds in there that's supposed to be guaranteed to grow and all that stuff. Every once in a while, we buy them, but for the most part of it, all of our seeds mainly come from the dollar store,
Speaking of
and
chickens, and go ahead.
we save seeds. Like if I get a good plant of bell pepper or whatever growing, I'll take the seeds out of it. One bell pepper will give you enough seeds to plant you a whole row or two or more of bell peppers. So it's just a matter of keeping the seeds instead of getting rid of them.
with the bamboo and cane poles and stuff, some of them grow by like droppings, and some of them grow from shoots that grow underground and stuff. When the canes and stuff come up, there's different varieties of them. But I've always said that if I ever, there's several places that I've got that are close enough with some water and stuff like that that'll rain runoff and stuff. And I've thought about putting some out, but you, like he said, you have to be super careful because you can turn them suckers; they'll go crazy.
Yeah. Good night, Deep South. So what else is going on, man?
That's about it. I mean, my work schedule has me so jacked up right now. I mean, you can see we're on Wednesday night now, not Monday night, and I ain't even sure if that's the best night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have to just work. I'll just have to suffer through it. But
We was talking about a different name for the show on the last episode, y'all, and me and Mike was talking about what about late night bushcraft / survival talk. How's that sound to y'all?
I do not have any hunting videos yet. I think some of y'all may have remembered it, but I went and started hunting one day, and the area that I generally had been scouting and know like the back of my hand, and they now have started forestry, cutting it off. Um, and as far as time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I get Caden. I get home about 2:30 to 3. Go in at 4 in the morning, and at 3:30, 3:45, I'm picking my son up homework, get him ready for football, and then practice from about 5:45, 6 o'clock till 8:30. So I haven't had any chance to go out and do anything. Um, the good news is, come November, I'll have plenty of time because he doesn't have any extra activities. And my wife, she's a nurse, and she goes for an interview Tuesday at the school to be the school nurse. So if she gets that, then things will be a lot easier for me.
Campfire Tales for a name. Weapons. That's pretty cool, man. Y'all give away your food to the free food giveaway things. That's pretty awesome. We always, when we grow the garden, we always have a lot of extra. I basically just give it to the neighbors. There's one lady I give it to. I give her tons of everything because whatever, she'll only keep enough for her for that week or a couple days, and she takes the rest to her church and gives to everybody. Take care, Elmore.
I clear my garden out, and I make one roll of turnip greens and one roll of collard greens and one roll of cabbage. And it takes me all of about 40 minutes. And I did that last week. We can, I'll have turnip greens in January here. I mean, still picked them, but I don't eat, we don't eat all the turnips. I don't plant the larger ones do, but that becomes my fertilizer for the next year because I just, what I don't pick, what we don't eat, what anybody won't come and get, they stay there, and then I just till them back in about February, let them rot real good inside, start over, put my other ground in.
I seen excuse me. Who was that? Somebody did a video of eating just the leaves off of the turnips. And that seemed like a real good idea, saying if you said the leaves hold a lot more value than the bulb does. And if you just keep picking the leaves off, they just keep growing back.
They do. I don't
And so
eat, I mean, we very seldom eat very little of the turnips that actually grow. We just keep popping the tops off of them and boil them up. And I've got about 25 jars that I canned last year that we've still not eaten.
yeah, you can them, huh?
Mm-hmm. They
I can't wait to get in the cannon. That's gonna be fun. That's cool. Survival. They what?
I was trying to catch up with some of the stuff there, but as far as with the hunting and stuff, I've got the one that I left my tree stand. It felt like a breakup with your first love. What do you plan on canning, Alan?
I want to can everything I can, but I also like dehydrating. But we're gonna grow a garden. In our garden, we usually have just all the basic stuff: broccoli, greens, lettuce. I like growing radish. Radish is easy to grow. Plus, you can eat. A lot of people don't know it, but if you let your radishes grow and grow, you can eat those seed pods off of them, and they're pretty good too. Or you can save the seeds for replanting them. But I want to can everything that I grow, everything that I can. I don't know when we're going to do it. We got to be able to afford to go get the pressure cookers and all that stuff and the jars. But I'm going to dehydrate a whole bunch of stuff too, because dehydrating lasts. I don't know how long it lasts. There's different sayings on it, but I think it lasts pretty much indefinite if you don't let no moisture in it.
I do pickles. I plant my cucumbers, little pickling cucumbers. I plant those every year and then I'll do them. But this year, I only done a few because we still got like 40 jars inside of there.
Yeah.
But the first few years that I was married with my wife, she doesn't can. I mean, she cans. It cuts the top off of it and pours it in the pan. But
I wish you send me a jar of them pickles so I can see what they taste like.
it tastes like
I
pickles.
told Tracy that you say they're extra good though. That people say they're better than the store bought.
Well, they're way better than the store bought. One is because I made them. Two is because I know what I'm doing. No, they. I should have brought some whenever I came up. What did I bring you? Some tomatoes, wasn't it?
Some tomatoes, some extremely too hot jalapeno peppers.
Did you feed them to the dog?
I threw the rest of them away, but that's just because we let them sit in there till they got rotten.
Yeah.
But I'd ate one of the. I love jalapeno peppers, and I would have ate those. It's just I got so busy and forgot they were in that drawer. But we ate all the tomatoes. The jalapeno pepper, I pulled it out and just took a bite off of it. And I was like, "This is good." And that's oh crap! Oh, and of course, if you eat a jalapeno pepper that's that hot, water ain't the thing to drink because water just enhances the burning.
And
all over my lip, in my eyes.
The sad thing about those are the pack of seeds specifically said tamed jalapenos. Could you imagine if they wasn't? I think there was a little drunk guy over there packing seeds, and he's like, "Wait a minute, I'll just put them in there; they'll be fine."
Last time I grew jalapeno peppers, they were real successful too, but they were extremely hot as well. I gave a whole bunch of them away.
Banana peppers this year. I planted 4 plants, and they're that long. There's pods out there that's still growing and growing. I mean, I ain't even picking any more of them because I'm done with them.
You can freeze banana peppers too.
Yeah, I pickled a few of them. Made little banana rings.
That sounds like a good idea for the jalapeno peppers. Where'd he go? Scott McGilvery. Mm-hmm. Dry the peppers, then blend them with lots of salt. That sounds like pretty cool. Something I'd like to pour in my soups and stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
I'd like to make those kind of, I don't even know what they're called. Them kind of peppers that, if you ever been eating at Ryan's Steakhouse and you go eat at their garden salad bar and they got them peppers up there. They're all squishy looking. I guess they're like a mild kind of hot, and they're just perfect for eating with my meals. I like those a lot.
You ever made chow chow?
No. Fudge fart. Dogs love me. Fuzz Fort 8 says dogs love me. We smell the same. But I don't know what Chow Chow is in prison. That was time to eat.
Yeah, well, it's that way this year. It takes a little bit of process to do, but
What is it?
cabbage, onions. I mean, it's just all
Oh,
kinds of stuff that goes in it. It's good with beans. Might get you. It's like a pickled relish, sort of. You've had that, I'm sure.
yeah.
It's sort of like that, but it's just a little spicier and a little better.
Seems like the older I get with age, the more I like spicier stuff. I don't know why. I mean, I remember younger, I didn't really like nothing hot, but now as I get older, I crave it. I crave a little bit of hotness with my food.
Sauerkraut. That stuff's good too.
I
But I
love
tell you what,
sauerkraut.
you got to be careful when you're making sauerkraut though, because you can make a concoction whew, it'll
Spoiled
stink up a
berry
house
cabbage.
because you can't. Whenever you make it, you got to have enough to let the gas off of it where it's working, but you can't allow enough air to get back in it. So you kind of like you barely put the lid on. Gas expanding with the salts. Then you tighten it some more. And then let the gases expand and explode or whatever. And then you tighten it back down. Then finally you get the final seal on it. And I have found out of about 12 jars that I make, about three of them could really kill somebody just smelling them.
Good night, Tasha. We love you too.
Well,
Answer me this though: does sauerkraut ever spoil?
I think say most sauerkraut I've ever been around's pretty much spoiled to begin with.
We've had some in the fridge forever, and we was wanting to put it on hot dogs the other day, and I was like, "Man, that thing's been in there for 2 years."
I
And we
don't
got to
know.
wondering, does
I mean, has
sauerkraut
it been
spoil?
sealed? Is it
Well, I mean,
sealed?
we done opened it. We done opened it, but yeah, it's in a jar.
Hmm, I don't know.
That's something I'll
I
have to
mean,
Google.
you about this Google now, ain't you? What are you
Yeah, I
gonna do
just
if
think
Google
it's
goes away and it becomes Facebook? You gonna Facebook it?
if it still has the same info, which I guess you could use any search engine. But
Yeah.
it's funny when you said that, that just reminded me of something else I was thinking before the show or earlier today. I don't know why, but it went through my mind. We are all so dependent on computers and cell phones now. And you look back in the day when there wasn't a cell phone, what did we do? But I was thinking, how many people would be willing to go in the woods right now without their cell phone? It's almost a must have. Even me, I don't want to go out there without my cell phone because I'm like, well, if a bear gets me and I can still move, maybe I can dial 911, or if I get snake bit, need to call somebody. But it's just weird if you think about the technology today, and then it wasn't that long ago when there wasn't cell phones. I mean, look back in the '80s when cell phones was a big new thing and them big old bags that you put in a car.
You had to have a 12-volt battery running at all times.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for
that's
my wife or my kids, I don't. I say it, but I mean, I wouldn't care to not have one. I've talked about it before with my wife and her. I said it occupies so much of your time. I mean, here's a trick for most people that don't even think about it, and some of them will admit it, and some won't. How many people you see go to the bathroom without their cell phone now? I mean, it becomes the new book. Right. And the
I'm
sad
guilty of
thing
that.
is we're flipping through Facebook, but if you ever just looked down there and thought, man, if this thing was really FaceTime, would I be looking at it now?
It's pretty amazing to think back. And it's good. Technology is a good thing. I used to didn't like technology, but
Well, I mean, just
I
like
guess
what we're doing now.
it's got its good points and its bad points. Yeah, something like this is good, but the governor watching us from space, that ain't good.
No.
All that kind of stuff.
But we got 9 minutes, and it pretty much at 11. I'm gonna have to kill it because I've got to be up in the morning and be at work. But I was gonna see if I'm gonna send Parker one over, and if he just wants to jump in, he may not even still be in, and see if he wants to tell about a little bit about that. While I'm doing that, you want to go ahead and finish up anything else you got?
Nah, I'm good. Um, I hear you, Tim. Tim, usually wherever I go, I get a signal, but it ain't a good signal. If I go to the Uori Mountains, I don't get no signal at all unless I walk my lazy butt up to the top of the mountain. Did you bring him in or send him an
I
invite?
sent him an invite there. I'm not sure if he's got it or not. From they're a few seconds behind us on with it, but I mean, I'm looking forward to going down there. I wish you could go. We talked about it, but
Yeah.
it's just for me to get all the way up there and get back and get all the way back and then go all the way up and then come all the way back. It'd be about a 5 hour trip for me. 5 hours
I
at
don't
that.
blame you. I don't blame you. That's too much driving.
But it sure
Maybe
would be
one
nice.
year. I'm thinking maybe next year we'll plan it out way ahead of time, and I'll try to save up money to catch a bus down there. I just hate catching a bus because I guess I could carry my knife and stuff in my pack if I put it under the bus, but I hate putting stuff under the bus. Too much stuff gets lost. We'll plan it out way ahead of time, and I'll try to save up money to catch a bus down there.
I see Parker made it in.
Catching a bus because I guess I could carry my knife and stuff in my pack if I put it under the bus, but I hate putting stuff under the bus. Too much stuff. I hear me talking. I'm saying the bus down there.
Parker made it in.
Catching a bus because I guess I could carry my knife and stuff in my pack if I put it under the bus, but I hate putting stuff under the bus. Parker, can you turn your speakers down?
And, you may have to mute the one that's playing on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
All right. All right, man. Let's hear about the get together.
Well, I think everybody's kind of packing up and getting ready. There's a lot of stuff on Facebook right now. People are posting pictures of what they're loading out. Weather looks good for the weekend. Looks like the highs are going to be in the upper 70s, low 80s, and going to be just right at night, about 50 degrees. I called and checked today, and so far there is not a burn ban in the county, so we can have campfires. But the people I talked to over there said that the county officials make the determination on the burn ban with recommendations from the state. So, and there's 2 counties already around Scott that have already got a burn ban in effect. So, for everybody that's coming, I would make preparations to use a jet stove or a little wood burning stove, something small, because we may get over there and they issue the ban Saturday and come around and tell us douse the fires and no more. So that's something that needs to be considered.
That's why I said I'm gonna bring my lantern just in case. Here in Georgia, we're fortunate. Even when they have a burn ban, campsites and campfires are legal. They allow those because they don't put off the big leaves, smoldering burns and stuff like that. But it's also 5.5 hours west of me.
And when I was over there on Labor Day weekend scouting out the park, there was a sign there at the gate in the window of the check-in shack that said burn ban, no campfire. But there were people burning some fires around the primitive camping area, and I saw where there had been fires burnt in the last 48 hours. If a man knows what he's looking at, he can tell how long a fire pit's been out. But that's the only thing that's got me concerned. And I think we're going to have a great turnout. And I think we're going to have a fine time, and I'm looking forward to meeting everybody, shaking hands, hugging necks, and spitting in the fire with everybody.
There you go. I'm going to leave. I should get there around 3 o'clock. If I leave around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go in that morning and make sure everything is good to go, and then get in the truck and just leave. I'm gonna pack everything up, but I'm not gonna take a ton of stuff with me. I figure it's bushcraft, so I don't need to bring my house.
Yeah, yeah. And
I
the
don't
more
want to
you,
pull up there and they go, I thought this was bushcraft and survival talk. Look at this cat here. He's got more technology than anybody.
I was I was kind of starting my pile last night, and I told the wife, I said, if this thing don't go ahead and get kicked off, I'm gonna have to rent a U-Haul. The longer I stay around the house, and the longer I think, the more I load.
Yes. Well, and that's always been one of my bigger things too, just on any camping trip. You know, if I'm going out, like, what did I take that? Especially after you've been about 2 miles in, you're like, man, I wonder if I put this under them leaves right there, if it'd still be here when I come back.
Yeah. And it's knowing that the vehicles are within, just right there. I mean, we're all going to be able to see each other's vehicles, so that you tend to pack differently when you know that your mode of conveyance is right there,
Right.
and you can work out of it. It's a lot different than throwing a pack on and hiking in for a couple of miles and then making camp. At least that's the way I approach it. I always have.
I figure I ain't packed up nothing. It's just what's normally in the bag. And I'll throw a few knives extra in there, and then I'm gonna throw it in the truck. And food's gonna be my biggest priority because I like to eat when I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I figure if I can save more for food, it's not like I can go out there and stab something and bring it back to camp.
Right. Well, Stanley just messaged me. Matter of fact, that's what I was doing when you try to send me a link, and he said he's going to be there about noon, and I'm going to be there between noon and 2. And Mike, you said you're going to be there around 3. You think?
Roughly around 3 o'clock. It shows that it's 5.5 hours away, but that's also showing 55, 60, and I tend
Right.
to kind of gain a few extra miles here and there.
Yeah.
I believe in that 9 mile over.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I just
we'll
don't
have
tell
a
the state that because the state won't allow it. They can write you a ticket for 3 here in Georgia, but the county and the city they have to give you 9.
I say. Well, that's as far as any new information. That's about all I know. I'm gonna call the park again in the morning. And if they do happen to issue a ban, I'll jump on the Facebook page and sound the alarm. But we can improvise around that. Yeah, I would hate to lose the camaraderie around a big campfire, especially when the sun goes down. But if we can't have one, we'll make it.
Lights. I've been many a times out in the middle of a field where you couldn't burn a fire and we still got along.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm gonna beat Donnie there. I'll get to get me a good spot then, because I figure he'll probably take a big old area. I thought about bringing my 40 by 40 tarp and just ringing it up and say, okay, this is my area. Are you taking a tent, hammock?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
taking.
your wife's one though, or girlfriend's, it's wife, isn't it?
Yeah, my wife's gonna come
Yeah.
over Friday, and I'm bringing the tarps and the hammocks, but I'm also bringing stuff in case it does get cool at night. I can ground pound, but
Yeah. I
but
seen that it said 48, I think is what it said for the low for
yeah,
Friday night and Saturday night. I kind of looked it up. I'm going to bring my little Kelty 2-man tent, which is really a one fat man tent, so it fits me pretty good. And
yeah,
I'm probably going to, the only reason I'm going to bring it is because it does have a rain fly over it. And if something just gets crazy, then I got something I can crawl into. But
yeah. Well, there's no forecast of rain, but of course it is the south. You know how that goes.
anything can
But
come
yeah,
up off that
we're gonna
coast.
hang under tarp, and if that doesn't work good for us after the first night, I'll just incorporate the tarps and turn them into pup tents, and we'll get on the ground for the next 2 nights.
I got my hammock. I'm going to bring it just in case I don't need the other one, so I don't have to pull it out. But it's just a small area. But I generally, if I take both of them, they'll both fit in a small area.
Yeah. There's plenty of trees there if people want a hammock, and it's a nice campground. It's going to suit our needs just fine.
Well, that's about everything then, I guess. I'll be glad when I get actually on the road and start heading that way.
Me too.
I'm going to take a
Absolutely.
couple of cameras with me and some chargers and make sure that I got enough to film because I'm going to film everybody.
Yeah.
I'm
There's going to be.
I'm going to ask questions all day long. So, what is that? How do you use that?
What you got there?
Yeah. I'm just interested to see how people actually interact because I've been to a couple of little things like this, and even with me, Alan and Tony, we went and met up one time, and it's like things change, because you have this. When you're out by yourself, you can do and say whatever you want to on the camera, and I'll edit that. But now when you got 60 people standing around you, you're like, should I say that or can I do this?
That's
so
right.
what would you do?
The real personalities are going to be shown.
Yes. I was looking forward to seeing Manland, see how he reacts in person. He seemed like he'd be a pretty interesting fella there.
And I'm going to have to leave at about 6 o'clock and go pick up our international guest tomorrow evening. He's flying in, and he's going to be in. His plane's going to land at 6, but he's got to go through customs and all that. So I'll be gone for just a little while, going to pick him up and bringing him back.
Yeah, I see he's on here now, or he's in the chat with it. So that'll be interesting too. I mean, you get to meet up with a lot of good folks.
Who's the international one?
Mark, Scouting Free from Germany.
Oh, okay.
So
he sent me a thing over the other day on Facebook from the thing on it.
Yeah. So, but I'm ready.
I am.
If I didn't have to tend to a couple of chores in the morning, I would probably be there tonight.
We have a primitive campground site here at one of our little local parks. It's a small park though, and we've gotten it twice. You have to have a minimum of 12 people or they won't even rent it to you. And it has these kind of like little scout huts. It's like 3-face sheds is what it is with bunks all around them, and the front's opened up on it. And nobody hardly ever sleeps in them. But last time we were there, we took my son for his birthday party. We went to the park and then done all the stuff there. And then that night we had for all his friends to come over and stay. And there was about 26, 27 people there total, and most of them were kids. And it was amazing to watch kids that will stay up to 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock at night. And then just like we did when we was kids, once you get in that tent, it ain't sleep time.
That's right.
It's like, now look, I'm not going to come over here and keep putting this thing back together and quit moving around in here.
Yeah.
And you wake up the next morning because you get up all through the night because you're checking on them because, it's April and it got down to about 35 degrees that night. So you want to make sure they stay warm, because kids are hot natured. So they've been playing. So they kick the cover off and they don't have this, the same as us. And you're getting up and you're unzipping all the tents and you're slinging cover and stuff over them, trying to get them back up and get them in their sleeping bags. And I woke up that next morning out of about 7 little pup tents that I'd bought for them to get in. There was like 2 that was standing up. The rest of them was just laying on top of them. I asked my son, he was 5 at the time. I said, what happened? He said, I don't know. He said, wind got to blowing, I guess. I didn't get to blowing, it pulled stakes and everything up.
He got there and got to thrashing. Playing.
But I'm going to go ahead. If you hadn't got anything else, Alan, you got anything? Or?
No, I'm good. We'll see y'all next week.
But I appreciate you stopping in and kind of giving them an update.
Well, thank you for having me and the invite. And I can't see the chat, but whoever's out there and whoever's coming, it's getting close, y'all. We're gonna have a good time.
It'll be interesting. I'm just looking forward to just seeing. I mean, we all have our, channels, and we do this, and that. But just being able to actually sit around, because you're gonna learn stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody is from different places, different areas. They know different things. No one person knows it all. So you get to pick up a few little tips, ticks, and stuff.
Yep.
I look
Absolutely.
forward to the videos.
And Caden is definitely not right. He's yesterday at a football game that they had. He was blocking, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. And this little number 13 on the other team was just, he couldn't keep Caden because Caden was bigger than him. So Caden was just pushing him all the way back 20 yards, And finally, Caden just got tired of playing around with him, and so he started going in, and he had made a sack, and then he come around. He was just pushing the boy over and going around because he got tired, because they only have 11 players for both teams that were playing. Well, finally, this boy was behind him and pushing Caden, blocking him, and kept hitting him from the back. And Caden finally, it's on that little video I made for him there, he just turned around, got his helmet right up in his face and said, just shoved him down. Well, they flagged Caden, because unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike or whatever. And that coach, he just went off. He went over and told him, he said, I have told y'all 5 times that boy has been hitting him, kicking him, doing anything he can. And he said, well, that's because that boy's so much smaller. He said, then take him off the field.
That's right.
But my wife, as soon as that little boy kicked him, she out of the stands, takes off going down there, and one of the ladies over, she said, why are you letting her go down there? I said, because she don't know how to get me out of jail. I can get her out. I know the process and the simple steps. We'll get this going.
Right.
But anyway, I'm going to go ahead. Thank everybody for stopping in. Maybe here in the next couple of weeks we'll get this thing back on track there. I'll get work a little bit easier to where I've got more time to actually sit down and do some stuff. But thanks everybody for stopping in. Anybody? No,
Yeah.
y'all going to just sit there and look at me.
They just want to sit here and let you do your thing, man.
All right, well, y'all have a
Thank y'all
good
for
one.
having me stop by. I appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, man. Y'all all take care.